Alrighty, here we go again. Here we go again. So this poem is called Sonnet 43. So typically, when people write sonnets, they write them into series and they number them. So Shakespeare wrote sonnets, 154 sonnets, sonnets 1 to 154. This is from a series called the Sonnets from the Portuguese. And it begins, How do I love thee? It's a pretty famous poem. That line, How do I love thee? Let me count the ways, is pretty famous, except that people don't really know the poem much beyond that, given that it's fairly complex linguistically. Elizabeth Barrett Browning was married to a man named Robert Browning, who was also a very famous poet from the Victorian era, and their love affair was, you know, they were in love with each other very deeply, and it's really something quite magical. And the poem itself, just like it says, it's a sonnet, okay, which means it's 14 lines of the particular rhyme scheme, and and essentially sonnets begin with a proposition. So what are we going to do? You know, Shakespeare begins some of his sonnets with "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?" That sort of thing. And what they do is essentially just that. For the rest of the poem, it's just a controlling situation, controlling metaphor. So how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. It's a list in a way of ways in which he loves him, and it's it's difficult, but we can work through it during one of our sessions if we need to. So, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with a passion put to use in my old grief, and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with the love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life, and if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death.